Hey guys, I'm Dhruv Arora. I am a master's student at NYU and I have decided to start my own YouTube channel which would contain videos about AWS and other technical stuff. So today I'll cover AWS API Gateway. An API Gateway by Amazon is a beautiful service which makes API developers' life very easy. So it is a full-fledged service by which you can manage, publish, scale your API at any level. So we'll talk about these topics. First is, of course, API Gateway, then Swagger, which is an awesome tool to blueprint your API, and then we'll talk about usage plan, and then we'll talk about authentication in an API gateway. So we can authenticate our or we can secure our API by using three methods or three factors: API key, IAM roles, or an authorizer. And then we'll use Postman to test our API. So we'll start with API Gateway. As I said, it's a beautiful service that is fully managed that makes an API developer's life easy. You can create, publish, maintain, monitor, and secure your API at any level. And you can create both REST and WebSocket APIs. So we'll go to AWS console. I'll do a sign in. Yes, so we'll go to API Gateway. As you can see, I have made some three APIs, but I'll create a new API for this demo. So we can choose whether to create a REST or a WebSocket API. And for this demo, I'll choose REST. And here we can choose whether to start it from scratch or clone an API or import a Swagger file. So I'll just start demo YouTube description. Demo API for YouTube channel, channel, create an API. So as you can see, a new API is made. I can add some resources. Suppose I want to add a new resource. So it will act like an endpoint to my API. Suppose I'll add, say, yeah, I'll add a register. I'll simply add it, and in that resource, I can create a new method which would accept like post, delete, put. So I'll go with post. So it can invoke a new Lambda function. It can mock a request. It can go to S3 also. So you can do that like one request you get to this resource and this method, and it calls an S3, yeah, or it puts a image at S3, or it calls a lambda function. So for this, I'll use a lambda function. So for that, let's create a new lambda quickly. I'll go to lambda. So I'll create a quick new lambda. Say v YouTube channel, YouTube demo, and I'll use Python. So in this lambda, will simply return a hello world from lambda. That's all. And we can actually print something from body and return that. Say we print a message. Say we get a message from event is our request to this lambda. So we say message, and we can print that hello from lambda. Your messages message. That's all, and we'll simply save this lambda. Then we'll go to API and we'll just simply type this name, or we can use this ARN, and ARN is Amazon resource number. We'll simply paste it over here and say okay, save. Okay. So first is so this would talk about method request, um, what the method authorization is, if the API key is required or not. For the time being, we'll simply create false, and yeah, so it would invoke a lambda on this method. We can set a proxy integration which would make your lambda act like your API gateway for this particular request. This is how a main structure is. Also, if we want to use it with a web, with a front end, we'll enable the cores of it. So through cores, you will add an option method. So cores will allow your cross origin requests. Then that's all. And this is a sample API, and I will just deploy the API. I can make a new stage, say development stage, stage description, anything, development stage. That's all, and it will deploy your API. So this is my invoke URL, and I will test my API through this in invoke URL. If you see, it's only till def. So my def is my stage name, and I will have to build it according to my resources. For example, I'll go to my Postman now. So Postman is a software. Uh, it it is a very good software to test your APIs. So yeah, so I'll create a new request. I'll make it post, and I'll paste that my invoke URL. Now I'll add my resource part over here. My resources slash register slash yeah, slash register, and the method is post. And in body, I will send message test message simple test, and I'll click send. So this request will send to my API gateway, which will invoke my lambda. If you see this lambda, which would run and give me my response here. Here is my response from my lambda. So this is a simple implementation of an API gateway. Now we'll talk about authorization in API gateway. And yeah, so we can authorize, or we can secure an API gateway using a API key. If I set the API key required true and then deploy it, let's see what happens. If I send a request again, it is deploying, so it will take some time to update. Send it now. Yeah, so it says forbidden. Why? Because I have made my API post method secured by an API key required. So I have to provide an API key with my request. So I can get an API key by making one, of course. So I'll create a new API key, YouTube demo, API key for YouTube demo API. Okay, so this is my API key. I have to associate it with the API using an usage plan. So now what is a usage plan? It will restrict your API according to the plan. Uh, for example, will make a usage plan, YouTube demo, usage. So I will enable throttling, which would limit to this n number of requests per second to an API using this particular API key. For example, I just said 10 requests per second and at a time 10 requests. So we can enable quota. Suppose I want to limit my API to have only 100 requests per API key per month. So I'll enable a quota. I'll just type 100 over and next. And I'll add that API to my usage plan. And I can also differentiate between stages of my API. For example, for dev, for prod, for UAT. Do this, and I'll add my API key. My API key was YouTube. What was my API key? Yeah, my API key was YouTube demo. I'll add this and done. So I will deploy my API. Remember, whenever you make a change to your API, you need to deploy it. So I'll use the same stage, added API key, and I'll just deploy it. Now I will test it in my um, Postman. I have added my API key over here. I'll send a post request and it's working. Now if I remove the key, it will not work. You get the idea. So this is one way to secure your API. We can also add a IAM role, which we get from AWS Cognito service, or we hard code it. But obviously, hard coding is not advisable. We use AWS Cognito, and then we can set an authorizer in which you will send a JWT token to your API gateway as an auth. So I have added this and made a demo API, events API. So if I get to this get method of in get API, so it takes an a cognito authorizer, which I have set it here. It's very simple. Users need to type uh, demo auth, and you can authorize it via a lambda or via a cognito. So if I just add cognito, I need to specify my cognito user pool and my token source. Remember, here the token source is an authorization header. That's all. I will show you a demo of get event. So it takes an authorizer for authorization. So I have made an API which I would register first. So this is, say, I'll give an email and then password and some data. I registered here. I did it earlier. So it says that. Then I will log in using my API. So I'll send my username password. This is just a demo. So I'll get my ID token, my JWT token, which is from Cognito, and I will provide this to a API method which I wrote, get events. Just need to enter an authorization by JWT token and access token in token simple API key and send. And this is my result. So last part is Swagger. This is a Swagger page, and if I simply log in GitHub, so if I see this is a blueprint of an API. In a Swagger file, you can specify your methods, your definition, your properties, and if I go to my API, I can export it in a Swagger file simply like this. The Swagger file is simple. So guys, this was a demo of AWS API Gateway. Please let me know how was it. It's my first video. I would love feedback, and I will upload a new video on Lambda pretty soon. And thank you so much for watching it.